Life in the country can be very quiet. The same seasonal chores, day after day, the same routine. Sometimes it can feel like time itself stands still. Yet it is so dynamic, peacefully behind the scenes. Things are changing slowly, without any hoopla or celebration, quietly growing, changing. It's the kind of change completely invisible to the outside world. So secluded, it doesn't get noticed or celebrated. Carrying my camera around as I work on the property, this video was supposed to be about my chicken coop. But that's not really what's been going on around here this week. So I'll share that instead. Today's video is about how we communicate and also how we don't. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject, so please leave a comment, like the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe so you can continue to engage in these conversations about how we can intentionally choose to live a better life. Reading your comments on my last video about the warm body phenomenon gave me a lot to think about this week. I was quite surprised to read how many people feel like they just don't fit in. I thought about it all week while I was working around here. Somebody commented, "I don't have a tribe and I'm okay with that." And that really stayed with me. It made me realize that while I recognize I haven't found my people, I always thought that they were still out there. And the idea that they're not was almost liberating. And it brought back into my mind the last few conversations I have had recently with people that are on my very short list of friends. And those conversations left me feeling frustrated. And while I had thought about it at the time, I kind of pushed it under the rug. I spend time listening to stories about coworkers and family, background situations that are ongoing. I ask questions. How did that make you feel? Offer empathy. That sounds like it would be really hard. I listen attentively. And I wait for my opportunity to share. And it doesn't come. There are little things. I can say I built a new pasture, and the response is, yes, I saw that on your YouTube. And the subject changes. Before I have a chance to share how much it's changed my relationship with the animals in such an unexpected way, about how I was concerned that Buddy especially would bowl me over out there. But really, he's just a big baby. Hello. About how much relief I feel.
How's it going?
Not having to restock hay this summer.
I know, right?
Not everything makes it onto my YouTube. I will say I have rats. And the response is, oh, I know I have them too. And the subject changes. Before I'm even able to explain how out of control my infestation has become, that I have to poison them, and I'm so torn about having to resort to that. How worried I am for the babies in there. But the conversation seems to redirect. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but... And I sit and listen. I have baby pigeons. I saw that on your YouTube. The subject changes before I can explain how nervous I am to remove the egg that didn't hatch for fear of disturbing this little baby. Unfortunately, the other egg didn't hatch. I know it's time to give up on it and remove it. I'm just gonna give it another day. How much? This one looks just like Sid. It looks like one of them is going to be white, like Sid. And my kid had a hard week that I parented my way through without having anyone to talk with about it. And then I run out of time, and I have other things to do, and I say goodbye. After 5 minutes, or 30, or 2 hours. So I had this stark moment. If I strip away the few people that I still feel I have a connection to, what then? Estranged from my family. What if I do a thought experiment and Scott is gone? What then? And this YouTube channel, this lighthouse that I'm beaming out into the world, what about that? So I stepped away from YouTube this week. I'll reply to the comments again soon, I promise. But it's really let me sit with the fact that what if there just is no tribe? And that's okay. Most people who clicked this video have already clicked away. As a content creator, I am accustomed to having to fight to hold people's attention for any amount of time. But when I have to start doing that in my personal conversations, that's the sign of a bigger problem. You're doing your job. And this is not a woe is me video. I am a grown-ass woman who can entertain herself. I'm not high maintenance when it comes to my friends. There are always meaningful things for me to occupy myself with. And I even have some funky new gadgets that I haven't had the opportunity to talk to anybody about yet. Back to my opening thoughts. Perhaps country life is just so slow and invisible that it doesn't get much attention. That's an idea, but I don't buy it. One of my friends is full-time homesteading just like I am. He should know better. Perhaps it is a squeaky wheel gets the grease situation. The ones that talk loudest are the ones that get heard. That's not how I remember friendships working. After COVID, I extended a lot of grace as people seemed to have forgotten how to human. I assumed it was a symptom of the post-lockdown. And I have always been a person who chooses quality over quantity in all areas of my life. Being isolated probably compounds that. It exacerbates it. I have such few conversations that the quality of them becomes more important, when I am probably just one of a dozen conversations that anybody else has had on a given day. My honest feeling is that it is probably something being encompassed in a larger social problem. Waning attention spans, constant distraction, doom scrolling, mindless content leads to talking about nothing. Is that just the new normal? Now you have to let me know what you think. Have you noticed the quality of your exchanges deteriorating? Why do you think that is? And as far as this YouTube channel, suddenly it seems a bit more futile to be shining like a lighthouse. Hello. If there really is no tribe. How's it going? Or maybe inspiring individuals randomly is more important. So with that backstory leading to my thoughts this week, I turn the floor over to you. If you are still here, I thank you for the engagement. I appreciate you taking the time to stick around and reflect on the world with me. Until next time, happy, healthy living. I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, staying kind. I'm Kitty Kate on the Homestead, and I'll see you later.